a teaspoon of olive oil before bed. That's it. That's the so-called secret some longevity researchers in the Mediterranean have practiced for decades, and the men who do it, the ones in their 50s, 60s, 70s, still climbing hills, still sharp at the dinner table, still strong enough to carry their grandkids on their shoulders, swear by it. What if the difference between aging hard and aging well was sitting in your kitchen cabinet this entire time, completely unnoticed? For the last few years, researchers studying the so-called blue zones, regions where people live remarkably long, healthy lives, have spent thousands of hours interviewing elderly men in coastal villages of Greece, Italy, and Spain. Nutrition scientists followed their meals, their rituals, their nightly habits, trying to find the thread connecting all of them. And one pattern kept surfacing, validated by major clinical research like the PRIDIME trial, one of the largest dietary studies ever conducted, involving thousands of participants over years. The conclusion was clear: extra virgin olive oil, consumed consistently, was linked to lower rates of heart disease, stroke, and metabolic decline, especially in men past 50, when the body's natural defenses quietly start to slip. Take Andreas, a 67-year-old fisherman from a small village in Crete. Every night, before dinner ends, he pours a spoonful of deep green olive oil into a small glass and drinks it slowly, like a ritual passed down from his father, and his father before him. His doctors back in Athens were stunned. His cholesterol markers, his inflammation levels, his arterial flexibility resembled a man 15 years younger. It isn't magic. It's chemistry. Extra virgin olive oil is rich in oleocanthal, a natural compound that behaves almost like a mild anti-inflammatory, working quietly inside the bloodstream to calm the chronic, low-grade inflammation that drives so much of what we call aging. Here's the second secret hiding inside that golden bottle: support for healthy hormone balance. After 50, testosterone naturally declines. That's biology, not failure, not weakness. But research suggests that monounsaturated fats, which make up over 70% of olive oil, may help give the body the raw material it needs for steadier hormone function. Picture Marco, a 58-year-old retired architect in Puglia, who started adding olive oil to his evening routine after his energy began crashing by 8 every single night, leaving him drained before dinner even ended. He wasn't transformed overnight, nobody is, but within a couple of months, he noticed steadier energy, a calmer mood, and deeper, more restorative sleep. A small ritual, real biology, quietly working while he slept. The third secret is about the heart, literally. Men over 50 face a sharply elevated risk of cardiovascular disease, and major heart health organizations have repeatedly pointed to monounsaturated fats as a tool for supporting healthy cholesterol balance, helping raise protective HDL while supporting the management of LDL. It isn't a miracle drug. It's a daily, quiet act of maintenance, the kind that doesn't show results in a week, but shows up 10 years later in an EKG that genuinely surprises your cardiologist. And if you've ever wondered whether something this small could really matter that much over time, stay with this for just a few more minutes, because what comes next might be the piece that changes how you think about your evening routine for good. If stories like this matter to you, following along means you'll be there for the next one too. There's a fourth layer to this, and it's the one most people overlook entirely: the gut. Researchers have found that olive oil's polyphenol, the same compounds responsible for that sharp, peppery bite at the back of your throat when you taste a high-quality batch, may help support a healthier balance of gut bacteria. And as scientists increasingly understand, that gut bacteria balance is tied to inflammation, mood, and immune strength in ways we're only beginning to map. Picture Dimitris, a 71-year-old retired teacher in Spain, who used to deal with constant bloating and sluggish digestion after nearly every meal. After months of swapping his usual cooking fats for raw, high-quality olive oil drizzled at the end of his meals, not cooked into them, but added fresh, to preserve those fragile polyphenol, his digestion settled, his energy stabilized, and his routine blood work started showing markers his doctor hadn't seen improve in years. And then there's the fifth secret, the one tied most directly to the brain. Cognitive decline is one of the quiet fears that creeps into men's minds after 50, the misplaced keys, the forgotten name, the small slips that feel bigger than they are in the moment. But studies on Mediterranean-style eating patterns have linked regular olive oil consumption to better cognitive performance and slower age-related decline, likely tied to its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties protecting brain cells over time. Vincenzo, a 63-year-old grandfather in Sicily, jokes that his memory is sharper now than it was at 40, and while genetics and lifestyle all play their part, his family points straight at that same bottle on the kitchen counter, the one that never runs dry. So here's where it all comes together: a heart that beats steadier, hormones that stay more balanced, a gut that finally works the way it should, a brain that holds on to memories a little longer, all connected by one quiet, golden ritual repeated nearly every single night for decades. Not a pill. Not a fad. Not a trend that disappears in 6 months. Just real food, used with intention, by men who never stopped paying attention to their own bodies even as the years quietly added up around them. The men we've followed in this story didn't find a fountain of youth, and no one's claiming they did. What they found was consistency, a small, deliberate act repeated thousands of times until it became part of who they are, woven into their evenings the same way brushing their teeth is woven into their mornings. No supplements aisle, no expensive subscription, no complicated protocol to remember. Just a bottle they already owned, used with a little more purpose than before. And maybe that's the real secret hiding underneath all the science. It was never about one magic ingredient. It was about showing up for your own health, one spoonful at a time, every single night, without fail, without fanfare, without anyone watching or applauding. Andreas didn't do it for results. Marco didn't do it for proof. They did it because somewhere along the way, it simply became part of taking care of themselves, quietly, consistently, the way their fathers had taught them, the way they'll likely teach the next generation without even meaning to. If there's one thing worth carrying with you after hearing this, let it be that small doesn't mean insignificant. Sometimes the smallest habits, the ones nobody notices, the ones that take less than 30 seconds, are the ones quietly rewriting your future while you sleep, recalibrating something deep inside your bloodstream, your gut, your brain, long before you ever see it on a chart or feel it in your bones. Because here's the truth nobody tells you about aging: it isn't one big dramatic decision that changes everything. It's the 1,000 small ones nobody else ever sees: the spoonful, the walk, the early night, the choice to keep showing up for yourself when no one's keeping score. If this story made you think differently about something as simple as a bottle of oil sitting in your kitchen, do something simple back, leave a comment and tell us honestly whether you'd actually try this tonight. And if there's a man in your life, a father, a brother, an old friend, who could use a little more strength and a little more steadiness in the years ahead, share this with him. It might be the small nudge he didn't know he needed, the kind that starts tonight and quietly changes everything over the next 10 years. Like this video if it gave you even one thing worth remembering, because stories like this deserve to reach the people who need them most, not just the ones who happen to scroll past. Your future self might just thank you for the spoonful you take tonight, long after you've forgotten you ever watched this.